Hey there, YouTube surfers. Welcome back to my channel, to you loyal subscribers and to you new subscribers. Hope you enjoy the content. It's been a while since I've posted. It's been a little too long actually. I'm working on my basement project here, doing drywall and all kinds of crazy stuff. I just wanted to show you my experience with, when you gotta hang up drywall and you gotta deal with things like outlets. I've tried a couple different methods. I started out, let me show you here, with this device called a blind target. And how this works is, it's actually a pretty good product. I think it's about $30 on Amazon. I'll leave a link, but yeah, you put, it's got two pieces. This is if you want to do, if there's three objects behind the drywall, like one sheet of drywall, you use these, but you use this in combination, excuse me, my throat's a little scratchy today, in combination with this top piece. So as you can see in the diagram, you put this inside the outlet, and then you put your drywall sheet over that. You loosely, I was kind of wondering how you would do that because this actually sticks out. Obviously your electrical box sticks out further than the drywall, so you can't fully put it on, but what you do is you just hang it loosely, maybe with a couple screws. Like this is like a 4-foot sheet of drywall here, for example. You put this in the outlet first. This one's already done, but you would pretend this wall is not up yet. You would put this in. Trying to do this one-handed. These are spring-loaded, so they go in and out. Let's see if I can do this. You just use a little spring, goes in the screw hole like that. I kind of missed on the bottom, but you get the idea. You go in the screw hole and put the drywall over, and then you take the top piece, and this is magnetic, and then there's an arrow, which should face up. Mine is facing down, but that would be facing up. Put the drywall on, and you would stick that over and go until it would grab. And then, so if you pretend right now, oh, that was a failure. You would. All right, we're back. A little technical difficulty, but anyway, you put that on, put the drywall over, and you would stick this piece, and it would latch onto it. And then you would take a marker, as you can see, I've used a marker. You would trace around this, remove this piece, and then you take your saw, which, let's see, where'd my saw go? You can use a regular drywall saw. Oh, it's over here. Excuse my mess. And like one of these, I don't remember what this costs, maybe $10, I don't know. And then you saw around the trace that you made. That's one method. And that works pretty good. When you cut out the little square, and then you can push the drywall on the rest of the way over the box. But as you can see, if you look close, I use this method here, and there's a little bit of a gap under the box, which isn't a huge deal, but when you go to screw in your outlet, sometimes the little ears, because of that gap, they don't grab real well on the drywall. So I would say this is a pretty good product, but you have to just be real precise with your cuts. In other words, when you're using that saw to cut around the outline, you would make sure that you're cutting as close to the box as possible. And when you get it all cut out, you kind of push the drywall and the square piece kind of pops out. And then, as I showed on the other a few minutes ago, you'd pull that piece out and you're good to go. And you can just screw your drywall on. Works pretty well, but I would say, after working with this, that this tool, this rotary tool over here, seems to work better. This is, I got this on Amazon. This was about, there was many different brands. This one was about $60. And it's corded, you know, you gotta plug it in. But after this project, I probably won't even need anything like this. So I figured, why spend, you can get a cordless version of this for $120. You know, I've got DEWALT everything, so I've already got the battery packs. There's other brands too. RotoZip, I think, was the original brand they used to have on infomercials. But with this tool, you don't use those magnets. You just, before you put your drywall up, you just measure how far the middle of the box is from the floor and then from the side. So then once you measure your box, once you figure out the middle of the box, you put your drywall up, you mark it, you take whatever measurements you had. So I think in this case, this one was 17 inches from the floor. I don't know, maybe 2 feet from the right. Remember, this is a solid piece. Before you cut it, you plunge this in, and then this is, so the direction of how you cut matters. So basically the easiest way to remember this is, if you're cutting on the inside of something, you want to do clockwise. This is how I finally figured this out. If you're doing the outside, which is what we're doing here, you want to do counterclockwise. So you plunge this in, you take it over to here, it's going to cut a line. Then you do a little lift away from the drywall, ever so slightly, and you plunge it back into the outside. And then you're all doing this by feel. So you're hugging the exterior of the box as you go around the left side. And then just take your time. You know, you'll see the pros go zzz, and they're done. I'm a DIYer. I'm not a pro. Just take your time, go slow. Make sure you're applying slight pressure so that you're kind of feeling the outside of the box, go all the way around. And then it's kind of like magic. It keeps it. I think I cut this one with a saw actually too. There's another big gap. But it works really well. Let me see this one. Let me go back over here. This one turned out really good because I did this with the actual saw. And you'll see that there's little to no gap. See on the bottom? It turns out almost perfect if you just take your time. I guess I got a little bit of gap on the right there, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, so for $60, I think it was well worth buying that roto tool. I will say this, it generates a lot of dust. I mean, it fills this whole area with drywall dust. If you can have a second hand or helper to, instead of doing, if you can hold a vacuum next to it while you're cutting, going around that thing with the saw to suck up the dust, it helps a lot because it gets everywhere. But yeah, that's what I recommend. Yeah, you can see this isn't even perfect either, but it's pretty good. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to show you those two options. I think, you know, like I said, this kit is like $30. It works pretty good. It works pretty good. RotoZip is better, but it creates a lot of dust, or RotoZip-like tool, I guess. So pros and cons. Price-wise, though, I think the rotary saw is probably the better way to go. The other advantage of a rotary saw is, I'll show you this real quick, is you can hang drywall larger than what you're covering, for example. Instead of trying to be super precise with cutting everything exact, you can just overlap like this. You can take that RotoZip, this is a metal stud. In this case, so you always have to think, remember, inner is clockwise, outer is counterclockwise. So if you pretend this is a giant imaginary box, you'd be doing the inner, right? If you put your saw here, you wouldn't want to start on the top, because that would be like you're doing an outer box. You want to start here. It's kind of hard to imagine, but if you think through it, it makes sense. And the reason that is it'll draw the saw the correct direction into the drywall. If you start up here, it's going to want to pull it the other direction. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you try it out, it'll make sense. So in this case, you'd want to, let's see, let me think. Am I telling you that right? Because this is if you're going up and around, actually, yeah, so this would be like doing the outer of a box. So this would be like, I probably said that wrong. You're doing it counterclockwise. So it's like you're doing the outer side of like an electrical box. So you'd want to start here and push slightly towards the middle and just line it right up. And it works pretty good, but again, it's a lot of dust. And if you're doing this side, the stud is over here, so you'd want to start at the top and push to the right and go down, pretending this is a giant, visualizing like a giant electrical box, and you're cutting the inner side of it. Anyway, that helps. That helps me visualize which side to cut on anyway. That's it. I just wanted to give a quick video. Two ways to cut out outlet boxes and trim your drywall. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.